Alright guys, if you're coming from my Carl Drum Tech YouTube channel, thank you guys so much for coming over from there. Today we're going to go over how to increase the quality of your rolls. So if you want more of these drumline tutorials, drumline lessons, make sure you subscribe. That way you don't miss a single upload, right? So do that right now, hit that subscribe button, and I would really appreciate it. Okay, now let's get to the lesson. Okay, so what I want to talk about today is let's talk about increasing the quality of your rolls, right? So if you're playing rolls for the first time, maybe like you're a beginner, you just start playing drums, and it's like you're being asked to play rolls, and you're like, I can't do it, right? And just like, maybe the drum instructor tells you just bounce it, and you're like, I still can't, right? Or just stroke it out. That's really hard to go fast, right? There's all these little variables, right? The thing is that in my experience as a teacher, and I've been teaching for over 20 years, being able to learn how to play rolls is not something you come across. It's not something that just happens overnight. There's no one phrase, no one technique, no one lesson that any teacher can give you, and all of a sudden you go from this to this. Like, it just doesn't happen. And you know why? It's because there's certain kind of chops, right? We talk about chops all the time, but there's some kind of muscles that you need in your hands to be able to play a roll. Certain kind of dexterity, certain kind of control. And it's such a nuanced thing to execute. It's just like not something that any beginner, anybody who's just playing drums for a year or two can easily do right away. Maybe they can start doing rolls after 2 years, but then the quality is still not quite there. Even advanced players still have to work really hard to maintain the quality of their rolls at a consistent level. Did you just hear what I said, right? Even advanced players, all right, have to work really hard to make sure that they control their rolls, that it's super consistent, as consistent and as good sounding as they possibly can. Okay, so it's not easy. Okay, let me just reiterate that, how not easy it is. It's very difficult to play and master rolls. Okay, so in essence, to learn how to play rolls at a high level, it's a process that you have to go through. Okay, now the process I go through with my students is the first thing they gotta learn is that upstroke. Right? Can you bounce the stick? Okay, because when you get to fast rolls, right, rebounding is a huge component of that, right? So you have to learn how to rebound just one stroke, right? Can you do that? Okay, if you're doing this and you're just like, not rebounding, or you're not letting it rebound, it's not going to happen. Okay, you're not going to learn how to play rolls, because like I said, rebounding is a huge component of it. And sure, you can stroke it all day long, but you're not going to go fast. I can't go that fast. Okay, so that's number one, right? And to emphasize that, what I like to teach first off the bat is an exercise called ABC, where you just go. Alright, so what that does is, first you have to make sure that both those strokes are upstrokes. Right? And then there's a second component to that, okay? And that's the second thing you need to learn when you're playing rolls, is that you need to make sure that you play a rhythm, okay? So when you're playing rolls, it's not just roll, it's not an abstract thing, right? It's an actual rhythm that you're playing. Digga, 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 da. Think of it as like fast 16th notes, right? You hear that, right? 1 Eana, 2 Eana, 3 Eana, 4 Eana, 1, even though it's not 16 notes, but it's like playing fast 16 notes. Otherwise, it's just gonna go. That doesn't sound like fast 16 notes, right? It just goes da 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 da, right? So it needs to sound like an actual rhythm. So ABC, or shups, teaches you the rhythm of a diddle. Okay, so in this case, the notes are placed in such a way that's like 2 notes in the first 2 notes of the 16 note, and then you have a space. You have a 16 note space, and then the next 2, and then a space, and then another 2, right? So 1 E, a 2, and a E, and 4, and 1 E, a 2, and a E, and 4, and 1. So the idea is you don't just go diddle, 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 tap, tap, diddle, 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 tap, tap. So you play 4 diddles and then 2 taps. Like, you can teach it that way, and that's good for simplicity, but it doesn't teach you the rhythm. Does that make sense, right? So understanding that you're playing a rhythm when you're playing rolls or diddles is huge to making sure that you have good, consistent, like quality rolls or diddles, okay? So the last component I would just say to playing diddles and rolls is just start playing rolls, right? Play roll exercises, play diddle isolation exercises, right? So something like, or triple diddle, or just start playing. All right, and just start doing it over and over again. What I like to teach my students is like, this thing called a 5-minute roll. And a 5-minute roll is just play a roll for 5 minutes straight, don't stop. I'm not gonna do a roll for 5 minutes, but you get the idea, right? So try that out, like, to build chops. Play a roll for 5 minutes straight, don't stop, and get the repetition of just playing diddles over and over and over again. Even if it's bad, like, you're gonna learn through the process how to improve the quality of that roll, and just by doing it, you're gonna learn so much, right? You're gonna start to experiment. You're gonna be like, well, this sounds like crap. How do I fix it? Well, let me try this. Let me try this. Let me try. And then through that experimentation process, you're gonna learn so much. You're gonna get better just by doing. Does that make sense? Okay. So don't be afraid to do something wrong for the sake of like learning it wrong. Like, do it, and then if it sounds wrong, don't just stay wrong. Do what you can, all right, to improve it as you go. That's the whole key, okay? So don't be afraid of like, people saying, well, don't practice something wrong. Like, I'm totally against that. I'm totally like for playing something wrong, but try to improve it every single time as you go. Does that make sense, right? So there's a huge difference. And I guess one last aspect I would try to help people out with their rolls is to remember, okay, what tends to happen is that the second note of the diddle tends to be weak, right? So what you want to do is make sure that both notes have the same volume and same sound quality. So an exercise I like to teach for that is a thing called triple partials, and it's one of the partials where you play the first and the third note of a triplet. So triple, let 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 triple. What that does is it puts the note in the second, it puts the second note of the diddle on the beat, and it makes it more of an emphasis because it has to land on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and just by emphasizing it, we're more aware of it, and it makes it stronger. So that's one way to kind of develop that second note to make sure it's just as strong as the first one. Okay, so you guys got it yet? I mean, like I said, it's a process. It's not easy. There's so many different techniques. There's so many different exercises. There's so much that goes into playing a quality roll. So don't take it lightly. And if you want more information about this stuff, if you want to learn, really learn how to get good at rolls, and not just take a quick little 5-minute lesson, right? We have a thing called the Drumline Blueprint. Hey, it's a Drumline Blueprint YouTube channel. Go check that out in the link below, Drumline Blueprint, or go to drumlineblueprint.com. We will teach you, like, step by step, how to increase not just your roll quality, but your overall drumming skill. Okay, so go there right now, and we'll see you over there. Okay, otherwise, if you guys like this lesson, please hit us up with a like down below. Leave us a comment if you have any questions or comments, and make sure you subscribe to this channel, and we would really appreciate your support. Also, share this video if you think this video could help somebody else out, especially if it helped you. All right, cool, peace out. We'll catch you in the next video, and thanks again.